Maybe wiggle the fingers a little bit. Feel the shoulder blades drop down towards the floor. Feel the arms drop into the floor. And then from here, you're going to walk your legs in, drawing your legs into the body, letting the legs bring themselves here first, noticing that effort. Then wrap arms around the legs. Give yourself a little squeeze. Maybe a really subtle rock from side to side. And then from here, you're just going to roll all the way over to one side. Push into the floor and come up to sit. Whatever feels like a nice, comfortable seat for you. Crossing at the legs. Palms can rest on the thighs, or you can bring them to heart center. And continuing on that practice that we started lying down of just taking a moment, observe. Notice what you feel as you shift into the seated position. Try not to assign any kind of judgment or critique to it, just observe. Breath changes a little bit when you're sitting versus lying down. A muscle that you didn't feel lying down, you all of a sudden feel sitting up. Those kind of almost like, you're making out your grocery list. Little, you don't get too excited when you say, oh, eggs, I need eggs today, whatever it is. So just kind of go through that action or that practice of seeing how many things you can notice in your body without getting attached to any sort of reaction. If you have another intention that you'd like for practice, by all means, feel free, this is your time. But if you were, at a loss for an intention, work on that. Take a nice big deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and let the breath out with a sigh. Inhale, we'll sweep the arms up overhead. Interlace your fingers. Flip your palms up to the sky. Get as tall as you can here. Hands go up, shoulders drop down. Crown of the head lifts up. Tailbone drops down. But take a nice big deep breath in here. And then trying to disturb yourself as little as possible, I want you to shift your legs. And whichever leg was in the front becomes the leg in the back and vice versa. And again, try to get tall here. And observe. Really small movement switching the legs. But does that bring kind of new awareness or new sensation anywhere? Get a little taller. And then you're going to release left hand to the ground as you exhale. Sweep the right arm over and get a nice big stretch through that right side. Breathe, feel the ribs expand and probably increase that stretch. As you exhale, can you let that right shoulder kind of drop down behind your back? Inhale here. And then exhale, we're just going to let that right hand come towards the floor, sweep in front. Inhale, come back up. Interlace the fingers. Try to do the opposite lineup of fingers. So the opposite pinky comes in the front before you flip your hands. Get tall. Drop the shoulders down. Lift the heart up. Maybe those front bottom ribs kind of drop towards the floor again. Let's again, trying to disturb yourself as little as possible. Can you change the cross of your legs? Notice if one feels different from the other. If a different muscle or joint starts talking to you. And then on an exhale, right hand comes down, left hand reaches overhead. Draw that left arm back in space and feel like the left shoulder can drop down the back of the body. Take a big deep breath, open up through the chest. And then as you exhale, you're going to let that left hand slide towards the floor. Inhale, come on back up one more time. Interlace your fingers, flip your palms. Let's exhale, drop the hands forward, pressing your palms out right at shoulder height. Drop the shoulders down, spin the triceps towards the floor, pull your belly back in space. Switch your legs again. Push the hands forward, pull your belly back in space. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, drop the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, knuckles back, chest lifts, big deep breath in here. And then exhale, just fold forward, belly towards the thighs. Inhale, come back up. Let's just exhale, shift over to hands and knees. And just do a few movements, whatever feels good in your body. It could be some cat-cows, some hip circles. You can do a couple little drop backs, kind of coming into your child's pose and coming out. Just moving as your body's kind of instructing you to move. Wiggles. And then go ahead, come up to hands and knees. You're gonna put your right hand on the floor, kind of right underneath the face. Inhale, lift the left arm out to the side. Notice if the left hip kind of pulls out. Try to keep that left hip straight in line with the left shoulder. Pull it back in space. Breathe into the chest. And then exhale, we're gonna thread the needle. Helen, these might not feel great, so I would say if you've recently gotten your flu shot, try not to let that arm drop all the way to the floor. But if you've got a nice, healthy arm muscle, just let that left arm drop onto the floor. Use your right hand and right arm for a little bit of stability and structure. We're gonna pull the right shoulder back in space, right hip back in space. Breathe into the right side rib cage. If it feels okay on your neck and on your left shoulder, maybe lift the right arm up and drop it behind the back. What's interesting about this pose, often the feet kind of start to migrate towards one another. So if you can, keep your feet moving straight out of your knees. Don't let them draw towards one another. Another big deep breath into the right side ribs. Exhale, bring that right hand onto the floor. Push down to lift up. Inhale, sweep that left arm back up. Bend the left elbow. Put hand behind the head. Lean your head back into your hands. And then we'll switch. Left hand's coming down, maybe right in front of the nose. Inhale, reach that right arm up. Kind of linger in this twist for a bit. Right hip pulls back. And nod out to the side. Chest lifts up, right arm lifts up. And then exhale, we'll do that thread the needle. Sound effects are helpful. So use your left arm to create some stability in this structure. Press down into the hand. Pull the left shoulder back in space, the left hip back in space. See if you can relax into the right arm and really let it drop into the floor. If you did it on the other side, maybe an inhale, taking that left arm up and sweeping it behind the back. See how far you can reach. Check in with your toes. Notice if they're trying to join one another. You're pressing them back, straight back behind the knees. On your next inhale, unwind left hand down, push into the floor. Right hand goes up. Check in with that right hip, pull it back in space. Right elbow bends, hand behind the head. Lean the head back, breathe in here. And then exhale, bring your hands to the floor. Curl your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. And just move around here too, kind of like your quadruped. Figure out what feels good in your body. Maybe some shifts side to side. Pedal out the knees. You can do some front to back rocking. Observe your body in this pose. See if breath has changed very much since you're now upside down. And then go ahead, bring the knees to the ground, uncurl the toes, shift the hips back, come into a nice little child's pose. Breathe here. 3 slow, deep breaths here. Feeling like that inhale can expand you through the back of the body. The exhale, the whole pose can sink down and get a little bit closer to the floor. 1 more. And then go ahead, push back up to downward facing dog. All right, in this downward dog, Let's make sure our hands are about shoulder width distance apart. Feet are about hips width distance apart. We're gonna inhale, come forward to a high plank like the top of a push-up. Heels press back, heart reaches forward. If you need to adjust and spread your hands and feet out a little further from each other, do that. Notice my shoulders are kind of in line with my fingertips. Exhale, press back, downward dog. Knees can bend as much as you need them to so that you can get your upper body nice and long here. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Exhale, press back, downward dog. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Knees are up or down, whatever feels better for your shoulders. You're gonna exhale, come all the way to the floor. Heels of the hands, especially like right at that wrist crease, are as best as you can underneath your elbows. Draw your elbows back in space, bring your chest forward. Collarbones are wide. Breathe here. Notice the urge to move on to the next pose. Just be in small cobra. Chest forward, elbows back, collarbones are wide. Nice long legs. Can you get all 10 of your toenails to tap the floor? And then from here, let's exhale, press back into our downward dog again. Let's take the right hand, move it a little bit closer to center, pick up the left hand. See if you can reach back somewhere along the outside of this right leg. So maybe down low by the heel, maybe up high by the hip. Use the strength of the left arm to kind of pull you through, like you're trying to turn yourself upside down. Check out your heels. Did they gravitate towards one another? Press both heels back in space. Lift the hips. And then let's switch. Left hand's coming towards the center. Right hand's gonna pick up and reach towards the outside of the left leg. Wherever you can grab, check out your heels. You're trying to keep them even. Notice if you can just observe this shape, how breath moves in your body here without reacting or judging it. It's tough. It's upside down and tricky. Can you be calm and observe it? Hands back up to the top. Slowly walk your feet back to the top. Come into a nice, easy forward fold. Feet are about hips width distance apart. Knees softly bent. Go ahead, wrap your arms behind your legs somewhere. And then just have a little rock, side to side, or possibly front to back. Big deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale, let it go. Release the arms. Inhale to slowly roll yourself all the way up to stand. Mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold yourself forward. Bring hands onto the shins. Inhale, lengthen the spine. We're going to take the left leg back into a lunge. Exhale. Your choice to use blocks on any of these lunges. Right hip pulls back in space, left hip pulls forward. The left hand is going to stay down. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, bend that right elbow. Bring your hand behind your head and lean your head back into your hand. Good, see how this feels? Inhale here. And then we're going to exhale. Try to bring that right elbow towards the right big toe. Inhale, take it back up to the sky. Exhale, come down, elbow towards big toe. Inhale, take it up. Try not to move that left leg, the one in the back, too much. Exhale, come down. Inhale, go up. One more time, come down. Inhale, go up. Lift that right arm up high. Exhale, hand to the ground. Step back, downward facing dog. Feet are about hips width distance apart. Shoulders, no worries. Your hands are at least shoulder width, but probably a little bit wider. Inhale, come forward, high plank, top of a push-up. Just notice where you land. Again, if you've got those shoulders and fingertips kind of lined up. My torso is parallel to the floor. Legs might have a tiny little bend in them. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Come forward again, high plank. Observe here. Notice kind of where the effort is. Can you spread it out so that it's not just in the arms? Get the legs working. Draw the belly towards the spine. And then with knees down or with knees up, you're gonna, again, exhale, come all the way down into small cobra. Check out the position of your hands, the position of your elbows. Draw your shoulders back in space. You should feel work kind of back of the arms and the upper back. If your lower back feels like it's doing a lot of work, try to spread out that work into the legs. Push the legs into the floor and feel the legs help stabilize. And then breathe. Soft, slow, even breaths. And then we're gonna push back. What's it called? Downward facing dog, right? Inhale, lift the left foot up. Exhale, we're gonna bring that left foot all the way forward in between the hands. Blocks or no blocks, your choice. Right hand staying down. Left arm's going up. Draw that left shoulder back in space, the left hip back in space, and then we're gonna bend that left elbow, hand to the back of the head. So the first thing is the shoulder stretch. You kind of lean back, feel that space on your shoulder, and then exhale, a little abdominal activation. We're working on those oblique muscles. Bring the left elbow down, inhale, take it up. Exhale, elbow down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, come down. Big breath in, up. I think we've got about 2 more. Come down. Go up. Come down. Inhale, up, left arm up. Exhale, left hand to the top of the mat. Right foot to the top of the mat. Fold. Nice deep forward fold. Again, knees can be bent a little. You can do the arm wrap. Or maybe see about reaching down towards your ankles and just holding on while you just move a little. Shift front to back. Shift side to side. Maybe shake out the head, make sure the neck isn't holding tension and helping you balance. From here, you're going to inhale, come all the way up to stand. Sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold right back over. Palms to the shins. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Let's exhale, step the right foot back, coming into a lunge. Bring the right knee down onto the ground. Uncurl those right toes. Walk your hands up onto the front thigh. Right hip comes forward in space, left hip comes back. Drop the shoulders down. Think about that small cobra. You know, you want to be long in the low spine. Feel a little bit of work in that upper back to open and lift the chest. You want to add arms, inhale, sweep them up. Palms facing or touching. Hold this pose for a breath. And then we're going to exhale, bring hands towards the floor or the blocks. Exhale, shift that left leg back towards straight. Left heel pushes into the ground. Toes point up. Feel like while you push that heel into the ground, you can kind of let the femur bone, that upper leg bone, drop towards the floor. Come all the way forward. Inhale, come up, sweep the arms. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor, shift back. Left leg long, spine long. On an inhale, come forward, sweep up. Exhale, straighten the legs, bring your hands towards the ground. Try to get as graceful and smooth as you can in these transitions. Inhale, come forward, sweep up. Exhale, left leg pulls back, hands towards the floor, spine is long. Inhale, come forward, sweep up. Exhale, fold forward, left leg long. Let's stay here. See how low you can get that upper body towards the left leg without the left leg falling off to one side or the other. And then go ahead and come forward. Step back, high plank. Big deep breath in this high plank. Exhale, go back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward. Hold, pause, take a moment. See what you notice. Maybe these are getting easier, maybe they're getting harder. Spread the workout through the whole body. Press back, downward dog. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Exhale, you're going all the way to the ground. Uncurl the toes, toenails down, hands press into the floor. Lift your chest. Collarbones are wide. The space between the shoulder blades should be really working here. Backs of the arms are working. Legs are working. Press those toes into the floor. Try to get longer. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot lifts. Exhale, we're going to bring the right foot all the way forward, coming into our lunge. I think we did left the back knee down right away. Yeah, uncurl the toes, or you can curl them in, whichever feels better for you. Walk your hands up onto that front thigh. Right hip pulls back in space. Left hip pulls forward. Lift up. Again, think about your baby cobra. You're trying to stay long from rib to hip. And then get some work happening between the shoulder blades, that upper back area. Not a lot of neck, your neck is just trying to stay long. You don't have to look at the ceiling. If you did it on the other side, arms up. Palms facing or touching. Triceps forward. You can kind of see that I'm working to bring my hands back behind my face a little bit. Exhale, hands to the ground. Left leg comes to straight. And then taking a pause, taking a couple breaths here, figuring out our alignment as best as you can. That leg's coming forward. Might have a little micro bend in the knee. You want to try to get the spine nice and long. Think chest towards that big toe. And then we'll kind of start to do that little movement, the flow. Bend the knee, sink the hip. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands to the floor. Try to do it simultaneously. You're straightening the leg as you're folding forward. Inhale, you're bending the knee as you're lifting up. Exhale, straighten and hinge. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, fold. Stay here. Press that heel into the ground. Drop the femur bone towards the floor. See if you can fold the upper body over that right leg a bit. And then go ahead and come forward. Bend into that front knee. Lift the back knee. On an exhale, you're going to step the left foot forward to meet the right. Come into a nice deep forward fold. Soft bend in the knees. Inhale, come on up to stand. Sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, prayer hands. So in your mountain pose, again, we're going to do some forward fold. So if your hamstrings are tight, you can have blocks or a piece of furniture to land on. I'm just crossing my right leg in front of my left and really trying to spread the feet out wide. So you want as much of the bottom of your foot on the floor as you can. And then just come into this forward fold, hands on the floor or a prop, and then rock a little bit. Shift your weight front to back. Shift your weight side to side. Soft bend in the knees. You're going to slowly come up to stand. Keep your legs in that lineup. Right is in front of left. You're going to put your left hand on your left hip. Reach your right arm overhead. Reach through those right fingers. Take a big deep breath in here. And then as you exhale, you're going to slowly fold towards the floor. Keep the legs as they are. Soft bend in the knees. Come up to stand. Right hand on the right hip. Side bend to stretch the left side. Reach the left arm overhead. Big deep breath through that left side. And as you exhale, you're kind of letting the breath out and you're letting yourself fall forward. Inhale, come up to stand. Let's switch the lineup of the feet. So you're putting your right leg behind your left. Spread out your feet as much as you can. Really feel the floor. You don't have to lock out your knees in this. You can keep them a little bit soft. And then come forward, hands to the floor. This one I find really interesting. You might feel it a lot more significantly on one leg than the other. Or like your right leg might feel the stretch regardless of which foot is forward and which one's back. So just kind of observe that for yourself. Start to do the little rock, front to back and side to side. Notice how that stretch sensation moves. By the way, if anybody feels any pinchy sensation in the front of the hips for this, stagger your feet more front to back. That'll help. Soft bend in the knees. You're going to inhale, come all the way up. Right hand on the right hip. Inhale, lift the left arm. Stretch over to the right. So you're kind of stretching out the left side of the torso. Take a big deep breath in. Feel that breath fill up the pose. And then as you exhale, breath comes down. The pose falls down. Keep your feet the same way. Notice, by the way, if your toes are curling up a lot, try to keep them spread out. Left hand on the left hip. Right hand is reaching overhead. Big, huge stretch through that right side of the body. Thumb pulls back in space. Breathe in. Fill the whole pose. Exhale. The breath comes out of the pose as you fold and kind of fall towards the floor. Inhale. Come on up to stand. Uncross your legs. Finding mountain pose again if you shifted on your mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Bring hands to the shins. Inhale, lengthen the spine, lift the chest. Exhale, we're going to just step back one foot then the other. High plank. Inhale here. Exhale, press back downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, chest towards the fingertips. Exhale all the way to the ground. Inhale, baby cobra, or if you want to do full cobra or an upward dog, you can do those now. Spine's pretty warm. Breathe in here. Exhale, press up and back, downward facing dog. Let's inhale, lift the left foot up behind. Exhale, step your left foot all the way forward between the hands. Soft bend in the knees. Inhale, you're coming up. High lunge. Exhale, you're going to open up warrior two. Shift the feet a little bit so the front heel lines up with the back foot. Collarbones are wide. Hips open to the long side of the mat. Drop down into this, into the legs. Really push the legs into the floor. Extend the spine. Radiant warrior, you're going to take that front hand, lift it up. Inhale. Breathe into the left side of the body. Exhale. Left elbow to the left thigh. Right hand reaches overhead. The right thumb kind of pulls back in space. Drop your hips, lift your heart. Drop your hips, lift your heart. On an inhale, come back into that radiant warrior. Exhale, we're going to straighten the left leg and then bring left hand down, right hand up, coming into a triangle pose. Shoulders pull back. Spine gets nice and long. 3 easy breaths here. Good. And then push back up. All right, we're going to do like a little mini bend in this leg, in this front leg, just so we can get down. So we're going to go into a fallen triangle. Bring your hands to the floor. You're going to kind of lift that back heel off the ground, so it almost feels like a lunge again. Hands on floor of the block, but block is going to be a little less stable. You're going to take that left leg and you're going to shoot it out to the right. This foot might be really far up close to your hands. It might be really close to that bottom foot. Kind of find a space where you can get it. I want you to think about this right hip. That's the one that's on the top. Try to drive it towards the floor as you bring your chest forward. This is going to give you a big stretch to the outside of that left leg. Push into the floor, lift your hips like you're doing a plank. Exhale, drop your hips towards the floor, lift your chest up. Come up like a plank. I want everybody to push into that left pinky toe side of the foot. Lift your right arm up to the sky. Lift your hips, lean back. Notice what you observe in this one. Inhale here. Exhale back to your plank. Downward facing dog. Let's do all these on the other side. Inhale, left foot. No, this is your right foot. Right foot lifts. Exhale, bring it forward. And come up into your high plank. Not the high plank. What is this? High lunge. Lift your arms, drop your hips. Exhale. This one's warrior two. Shift your feet a little bit. So you're checking out the alignment of your pelvis. You want to be open to the long side of the mat. Shoulders drop down. Arms are long. Radiant warrior. You're taking that front arm, lifting it up to the sky. Drop the hips, draw that front knee forward, and then exhale, right forearm to the right thigh, left arm's reaching overhead. Draw that left thumb back in space, and then hips down, heart lifts. Hips down, heart lifts. Legs are really strong. Try not to tense up in the upper body. From here, we're going to come back into that radiant warrior on an inhale. Exhale, straighten the right leg. Inhale, come forward. Triangle. Our nice, normal, stable triangle. The triangle before the triangle falls over triangle. Big deep breath in here. Push into the floor, come up, straight arms. Little soft bend in that front knee so you can bring your hands down to the floor. So you're going to pivot. I'm on the ball of the back foot, my heels are lifted. And then I'm going to shift this right leg over to the left. Again, play with where it is, where it makes sense on your body. You want to feel some stretch on the outside of this hip, especially as you drop down. If this bothers your back or your knee, change the position of that right leg. Pushing into the floor is like a plank. This should be work. Dropping down is more stretch. I mean, they're both a lot of work, but this one's got more stretch element. Push in like a plank. Drop down for that stretch. Now we're pushing into the plank. Push into the pinky toe of that right leg. Lift your left arm up to the sky. Both legs are pushing into the floor. Lift your hips, open chest. Exhale. Sit back plank. Downward dog. From downward dog, let's bring the knees to the floor. Take a child's pose. Take 3 slow, deep breaths here. Arms can be positioned wherever feels good in your body, forward or back. And then from here, we're going to come up. Walk your hands forward. Let's extend the right leg long behind us. Press into the right toes, kind of press that right heel back so we get a little calf, maybe a little ankle stretch. You're gonna lift that right leg up, shift it over to the left. So a little bit less demanding than that drunken triangle, but still working on the outside of the hip. Look over your left shoulder. Keep those right toes pushing into the ground. Right hip kind of drops out to the side. It's going to increase that stretch. Then from here, you're just going to bend your right knee and kind of draw it up towards the back of the left knee. So my feet are moving away from each other. And then I'm just kind of dropping my hips back, almost like a child's pose with crossed legs. Some of you might be able to get really low on this. Others, less low. But again, just kind of move a little bit side to side and observe the shift in where that stretch happens. Okay, and then you're coming up. Everybody's got the left leg in front, right? So you're gonna take that left leg and you're gonna extend it behind you. The right toes are gonna keep pivoting out to the side, and we're coming into a little side plank. Right leg is a kickstand. Left foot is on the floor. Right hand is right under the shoulder. Lift your left arm up to the sky. And then reach that left arm overhead. Big deep breath in here. Kind of feel the stretch sensation. Now we're going to take that left hand and we're going to bring it back onto the left hip. I want you to kind of use your hand as a check. You want your left hip to stay right on top of your right hip. And we're going to do a couple of little leg lifts here. Maybe 5 to 8 times. So what's interesting, most people, if you're lifting that left foot, you're also going to feel work on this right side, because both of those outer hip, glute med, glute min muscles have to work to stabilize you. Don't let that foot come forward or swing back. It's just a straight line, up and down. Good. Left leg's behind us. You're going to put the left foot to the floor for a moment. And you're going to bring that left foot all the way back up to the top of the mat, coming into a lizard lunge on the left side. I'm going to turn a little bit so you can see me. My right knee is still on the ground. Left foot's on the floor. Turn that left foot out to the side. Left hand on the left knee, twist here. What do you think the chances are I'm going to remember all these on the other side? This got very funky. A couple big deep breaths in. Good. All right. Back to hands and knees. Help from the peanut gallery if I forget. So you're going to start left leg long. Left toes are on the ground. Just press back through the heels so we get a little bit of calf stretch. Maybe some ankle stretch. And you're going to come forward. Left foot's lifting and it's swinging over to the right. You're going to push those right toes into the floor. I'm sorry, left toes into the right floor. Look over your right shoulder. Try to keep that left heel pushing out to the side as your left hip drops to the other side. All right, and then we're going to take that left knee and you're going to scooch it forward so that it kind of tucks up to the back of the right knee. Feet are wide, so they're moving in opposite direction. And then you're dropping your hips back in space, seeing how far back you can go. And then also trying to get a little movement side to side. And if you find a good stretch spot as you move side to side, maybe linger in that for a moment. Good, and then we're going to come up. So this is your right leg. That's the one that's in the forward. You're going to bring it forward, and then you're going to send that leg long. Pick up the left toes, spin them towards your backside. Left arm is down, left leg is down. Right leg's long, right arm lifts up, right arm is long. So our little side plank with a kickstand. Feel the stretch in the side of your body. Then we're going to move to the work in the side of the body, side of the hips in particular. Bring your hand, right, what is this? This is my right hand. Right hand to the right hip. Right hip is right over the left hip. You don't want to let it to come forward. And then you're just going to do those little leg lifts. Really simple. The second side of these is always harder because you've already got a little fatigue. I'm actually getting a little cramp here in my left glute. Couple of those. Good. Then we're going to take this right leg. Bring it all the way back up. Right arm is going to be, right leg is on the outside of the right arm coming into your lizard lunge. Breath here. And then we kind of go into that opening twist. Right hand on the right knee. Push it open. Lean back. Think of like the aerial view of you as kind of like a Y. Nice big deep breath in here. And then go ahead, bring your hands back to the floor. Let's step that right leg back. Curl your toes under, shift your hips back. You might have to reposition the feet a little bit. Try as best as you can to get the bottom of the toes onto the floor. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, class is almost over. Hips back. Stretch out the feet. There's so much more that we need to do today, but it's all right. Couple breaths. Go ahead, inhale, come all the way forward. Rest on your belly. Make a little pillow with your hands. Observe this pose without reaction. So we're going to bend right knee. You're going to come up onto your forearms. So resist the urge to go back and grab that foot right away. You'll be able to in a moment, or maybe with a strap. Feel the work on the back of the right leg to pull that right foot in towards your body. Then what I want you to do is feel like you're taking that right hip, or really specifically your right glute is activating. Turn it on, feel like you're pushing the front of your right pelvis into the floor. And even though that's a lot of work, notice if you feel any stretch sensation on that right quad. Then go ahead and see what you can grab. Ankle, pant leg, throw a strap around it. The stretch sensation is probably going to become much more obvious when you've got an arm pulling on that leg. And so you can relax the work sensation that you might have felt in that hamstring or that butt. Good, go ahead, release the right foot. Maybe wiggle that ankle a little bit. And then you're gonna turn your right knee out to the side and kind of slide it forward. So I'm trying to bring that right knee up towards my right shoulder. I'm gonna bring my chest towards the ground. Make goalpost arms. See how close I can get my right elbow and my right knee. Breathe here. This again feels like it might be a spot to go back to a nap. But see if you can really relax this right inner thigh towards the floor. Notice if turning your face to the left changes the sensation in any of this posture. Okay, and then send that right leg long. Come back up onto your elbows. Pick up your left leg. And just see how close you can get your left foot towards your left hip, using the muscles in the back of that left leg. Notice if your body shifts at all side to side. Try to keep your pelvis straight on the floor. Try to keep your shoulders straight, not dipping to one side or the other. Keeping that pelvis straight is probably going to require some work in the left glute area. And then see what you can grab. Foot, ankle, pant leg, strap. The observation probably goes towards less work, more stretch. Less activation, more stretch. And then we'll carefully release that leg. Maybe give the ankle a little swirl. And then you're going to do that shift. So your left knee is coming out to the side. As high up, close to the left shoulder, left elbow as it can. First couple breaths, you're going to turn your face to the left. And just kind of using your breath, really feel like you can relax that inner left thigh towards the floor. And then shift your gaze over to the right. And see how that changes the sensation in the pose. And then we're going to extend that left leg long on the floor. Bring your hands in by your shoulders. Push down into the ground, coming up. And let's just shift to sit. Just to get one more stretch through the front of the hip and the front of the legs, because we did a lot more through the back. You're just going to bend both of your knees and turn them to the right. Right foot is kind of pressing into that left knee. Then you're just going to lean back over to the left. Again, maybe firing that left glute will help increase the stretch in the front of this left hip. It could be anywhere from the front of the hip all the way down towards the knee, getting those large quad muscles and all of their friends in hip flexion. And then come up and just switch your legs. Knees over to the left. Left foot's touching the right knee. This right foot can be kind of out to the side or tucked under. Really, it kind of depends on your ankle and your foot, whichever feels better. But then you're gonna lean back a little bit. And as you lean back, go right a little bit. Right glutes firing. To kind of help drive the right hip point towards the left knee, and that's going to increase that stretch through the front of the right hip. And then you're going to come up. Swing that right knee forward. Shift yourself onto your backs. If you're wanting a sweatshirt or a blanket or a layer in Shavasana, grab it now. Give the knees a little windshield wipering from side to side. And then when you're ready, you're going to extend left heel towards the left corner, right heel towards the right corner of your mat, unless your dog is still on your mat, and then you're going to find whatever space you can. Palms up, chest is open. Now, as you go into Shavasana, you're trying not to even observe. Just letting yourself be in this space. Kind of letting that any sensation that you notice, let them start to shift or fade into the background. Invite a little movement into your bodies. Wiggle fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. And then slowly start to shift yourself into a little fold position over to one side. Taking a breath there. And then bringing yourself back up to sit. We'll inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, draw the hands through heart center. Fold yourself forward. We'll end our practice here. Namaste.